The planet Venus has gone into Cancer over the weekend. What does it mean for us in terms of caring and how beauty is awakened? I'm Marina Ormes, and this is your Astro Vibe for Monday, May 8th. Today we are looking at a moon that is starting out the day in Sagittarius, helping us make meaning of recent events. We had a potent, intense lunar eclipse on Friday. Last week, there were a lot of intense energies of shift and change, and now we're in the phase where we are integrating, digesting, processing, making meaning out of what has been going on. So with the moon in Sagittarius, I was sharing on Saturday how that brings a bigger perspective, right? A bigger picture view of recent events. And so the ability to make sense, connect the dots, put it in context, put it in perspective, see what's been going on and make sense of it. Why, right? Why have we been going through the things we've been going? What does it mean? What does it mean for us and how we go forward from here? So later today, the moon goes into Capricorn, and that helps us think about how to implement, how to put things into practice, how to create systems and structures, perhaps from the ground up, right? Based on what we've learned through recent experiences and a change process that we're in the midst of. So, when I was a kid, and I'm a Capricorn sun, I loved playing with blocks, playing with Legos, anything I could get my hands on that would allow me to build something. And I could see, at the end of my playing with the blocks, I could see what I created. And it was such that feeling of satisfaction of lining everything up and creating something that was complete. And so that's kind of what Capricorn brings us, right? It's the ability to imagine and then construct. So putting things into form, making them tangible, putting a plan into place that we can see unfolding over time in our minds, right? How is it going to all shake out? What's it going to look like when we're done? And we can imagine that finished product and then put the steps in place that we need to have there to make it happen. So just the ability to see it in your mind first and then put it into practice and see it take shape. That is the power of Capricorn. And we are integrating, right? Processing what happened and what was revealed around the full moon, which was a lunar eclipse and was in Scorpio with some deep water energies helping us move and change on the inside. So now we're making sense of that. We're integrating, and Capricorn moon will bring an opportunity to implement. So from the Sagittarius moon energy, which brings perspective, ability to tell the story of what happened and why. And, you don't have to have, in fact, you probably don't, right, have a complete story or a complete understanding. But it's just sort of the beginnings, the glimpse of the meaning of what has been transpiring. So the beginning of understanding. And think about, Sagittarius is the sign of travel. So what happens when you go outside of your normal territory? Get on an airplane, you get on a train, you get on a bicycle, whatever it is, and you go beyond where you normally hang out, most of the time. And when you get outside of those everyday routines and patterns and constructs, it helps you to reflect on what is your daily life about? What's going on there? Is there anything that you're seeing or noticing or discovering that informs you and that you'll take back when you go home, and to reintegrate, to implement, things you've discovered or learned, or ways that you've grown along the journey? So Sagittarius is about getting outside of that normal pattern, that normal routine, and seeing the bigger picture. Helps us put things in context and see what's unfolding and why. And it just gives us a different perspective, right? When you go to a different country and there's a different culture and different language, everything's different. It helps you realize that what you think of as just the way it is really not the way that all of it is, right? It's just the way the little small part that you experience every day is, right? So it gives you that bigger picture perspective of how things are outside of your world. So we're having that as we go through the experience of the moon in Sagittarius, and then later today it shifts into Capricorn, where we can start, putting the building blocks in place. And again, because the moon is waning, we're also doing that as a way of integrating and learning what it means, because the waning half of the cycle, the moon cycle, is about integration. It's about making meaning of what transpired around the full moon, whereas the waxing half of the moon cycle is about building and growing and moving outward and experiencing things and discovering. So all those things are true also with the waning moon, but the waning moon is more about integration, what we're going to do about it, how we're going to change based on what we learned, and how we're going to implement new ways of being that have maybe come to our awareness with the full moon. So, and I was going to talk about Venus and Cancer. So Venus is the planet of values, of beauty, aesthetic, what we find beautiful, how we experience beauty, how we receive into our being through our senses. So it's when we have that experience of seeing things that feel beautiful and how that feels in your body. That's Venus receiving. And Venus is about receiving, right? It's about receiving love, receiving affection, receiving money, receiving praise. So when our Venus is healthy, we're more able to receive. So Venus in Cancer is a sign of caring. It's a very emotional sign. It's watery. So when Venus is in Cancer, we experience receiving emotionally. And so things that we value are being cared for. We see the value in caring. Caring is beautiful. Our emotional process is beautiful. We can put our emotional process into things of beauty, like putting emotion into your art, into something you're working on, into your appearance and the way that you attend to, presenting yourself, which is also a way of expressing yourself, right? And so the ways that we take that energy of feeling and put it into something that feels beautiful, that's what Venus in Cancer feels like. And Venus, before I went into Cancer, Venus was in Gemini. And so receiving had more to do with thinking and thoughts and ideas and curiosity and learning. And that was what felt beautiful and where we were seeing beauty, and with that energy of Venus and Venus and Gemini. So now we have both Venus and Mars in Cancer, bringing themes of emotional processes to the surface, especially in relationships. and how we share with another person, our feelings, our sensitivity, all coming up. So be kind, be patient with yourself, be patient with your partner or friend or peer or colleague or whoever it is that you are interacting with, because we're all experiencing things a little bit more emotionally. We feel vulnerable, and that sensitivity is there. Sensitivity is a power, right? It's the ability to intuitively perceive things. So when we're sensitive, we pick up on more, we feel more, and also we can be vulnerable, right? It can feel vulnerable. So so that bringing in that power of our ability to sense and perceive things more intuitively, and seeing that as an asset, and then being kind and patient for the places where we do feel vulnerable, or maybe where people around us might be being emotionally reactive. We can just go, yeah, I know, there's a lot of Cancer energy, and it's in things, we just feel sensitive right now. So I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and we can circle back to this later, right? When everybody's feelings are a little more manageable. I don't know, whatever works for you. So so anyway, that's Mars and Venus in Cancer, and Mercury is still retrograde in Taurus, so we have that going on, and we're experiencing review in our ideas, thoughts, communications, and the need to double check, the need to go over things again and get them right. So, and yesterday I was sharing about Pluto retrograde, what it means when an outer planet goes retrograde, and how it's speaking to the depths of our soul, and what it means if that soul transformative planet is retrograde, and how that impacts us and our experience. So some great insights on Pluto retrograde and Pluto retrograde in Aquarius in yesterday's video. So check that out if you missed it. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Marina Ormes. You can learn more about me at astrologyheals.com. And I'm going to be sharing more with you. Looking forward to my anniversary of doing daily videos on June 5th coming up here. So I'll let you know more about that. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so you don't miss what's coming up next, and stay abreast, afoot of the of what the planets are doing. So you want to make sure that you have that bigger picture perspective to get the most out of your life, right? Just a little thing. All right, talk to you next time. Bye for now.